We are live in the dirtiest South, Winston-Salem. Sorry, I'm all hugged up and a lot of things today. How you doing tonight, Mike?
I am doing okay, I suppose. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been busy. It's been my first weekend of not doing where I had time to myself for to get some things done in my hobby world that needed to be done. Let's see. Hey, battery. I don't know. Right now on my TV, it's bases loaded with one out, and I'm rooting for the Dodgers, and it's very hard for me.
Full
Uh,
count, baby.
yeah, full count.
1-0 Braves on a walk. Spoiler alert for some,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Uh, Sadler fan, what's going on? Uh, what's up, Three River? Hodges, Dr. Exclusive Joe. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Thank you for choosing myself and my friend of the channel and friend of life, Mikey, which I'm not happy with because I don't have gum on the way because he forgot to
Oh,
put my
shit.
gum in my pack.
See, you ask how I'm doing. I'm doing even worse now after hearing that because I forgot. I forgot I ruined your weekend. Now I
That's all right.
remember.
The Mets ruined my weekend, and then the Cowboys getting blown away. UVA lose. I've had a bad weekend. Now the
That is
Diamondbacks.
that is a bad sports weekend.
Yeah,
I personally feel a little overwhelmed at the moment because I have just 8 billion things going on. And I know I probably say that every week because I consistently do, but I got all sorts of things going on that are keeping me incredibly busy, struggling with some of the eBay stuff. Have about 60 things to pack, been packing stuff for the last couple hours. So I'm a little behind on that, behind on like being able to enjoy the hobby at all. On the cusp of losing in fantasy baseball in the first round after a second place regular season finish. Obviously, not the end of the world, but rough week. Team didn't show up. Fantasy
right.
football, that, like the baseball, I blame the players. You guys sucked. Had 3 starters one day combined for negative 20 points. Fantasy football, I'm likely to lose. It's not over. Like, hopefully, the Eagles quarterback sucks this week. And then Kyle Pitts
Hopefully,
for the first time in his career actually has a huge game, then I'll be all right. But that I blame myself.
Pitts had an
Jacket,
all right week last week.
he's all right, but I need a big week. See, this jackass who owns the team, the manager, for some reason, and he was on the injury report and stuff, but got a little nervous on Thursday. So the Dolphins running back who scored a touchdown in like every game he's ever played, I left him on the bench. He scored 29 points. I started the Bills receiver at receiver where I could have just started Marvin Harrison and then used this guy at running back and moved someone into the flex spot. But instead, I started Keon Coleman, rookie for the Bills. That son of a bitch had 0 catches, got me 0 points. Though the Bills played well, Josh Allen didn't have a big fantasy week. So he had like a good week in real football, bad week in fantasy, got me 11 points. And even though I did have Marvin Harrison Jr. in the lineup and a bunch of other guys who had big weeks, because of that monumental mistake of leaving 29 points on the bench and getting 0, likely to lose. So a little annoyed in the fantasy football world, disappointed in the fantasy baseball world, overwhelmed in the hobby world, and unbelievably overwhelmed in the real world. So now that's off my chest. I was starting to feel a little better because I'm like, I'll spend some time with my buddy Scott. And then I realized fucked up his weekend by forgetting to give him some big league juice. And now I got to send him 2 one of these days to make up for my mistakes.
It's 2-0 at the end of the inning. I think the roar was a ground ball, which they got to out at home plate on a big.
But in the sports world, Patriots, listen, they played well. Disappointing that they lost at the last moment, but like they've played beyond expectations to this point, so you can only be so disappointed. The Phillies, though, it's nice to see them, even though they're not playing necessarily great, they're kind of gutting it out, getting some key contributions. So that was good for me. Obviously disappointing for you.
The only plus that I've gotten out of this weekend is it sucks that we're finally getting a season, a great. I mean, Lindor is playing his mind out of his mind. He hurts his back, but the silver lining is Acuna comes up and that young man knows how to play baseball. He knows the sport. He's
And
smart.
he got himself a Tops Now card if you didn't
Yes,
notice.
I got it.
There you go.
He got 2 hits in his first game. Lindor tried to play today, but Acuna came in because he got a hit first time up and he could barely run the first. So
that's definitely a shame for the hobby and the sports, because Lindor was like one of the bright stars. Like he was so fun to watch in his heyday. Hate to say it because it's been a while with Cleveland. Right. You know, that team that went to the World Series at this point. What was that? 2015.
Yeah, but I think he was one of those guys that was like 20 years old when he started.
Yeah, he was young, so he's still. It's not like he's 38, but like he's been. Right. There's no way else to say he's been a disappointment since being with the Mets prior to this season. He's just struggled, been hurt, had some issues, and
very true. Right?
He's finally putting it together and having himself a nice year. And it's not,
Yeah,
granted, it's late in the year, but with the Mets making a push at a potential postseason spot, you don't want to see this.
No, I want Acuna to do well. A lot. He's got a lot on him being little brother, and but he played so relaxed, and he made a play up the middle today. I don't know if a lot of shortstops would have got to it. So I was really happy. If anybody's wondering what I'm wearing, it's the Roberto Clemente hat. He played, not his hat, but he played for this team in Puerto Rico, and with it being Roberto Clemente Day, very happy. If y'all haven't checked out Lou Rock, he went over some cards talking about Roberto Clemente. He's a fellow collector, and he's got some really nice stuff of Clemente. So
no fantasy baseball talk with Lou Rock.
Yeah, because is he winning our league? Is that why he's talking about it? I suck this year. I'm not very good at fantasy. Doing well at fantasy football.
He might be knocking someone out of the playoffs. Some bullshit.
Okay. Anytime. Hey, Lou Rock, when you deserve it. Good shit. So, and I mean, your Yankees, they're battling Lou Rock right now, but I'm glad to see Judge, even though I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm glad to see him hit a grand slam, even though it was for the win. But baseball needs, I think Judge to be on track, especially going into the playoffs, just to make the playoffs fun. Man, my dad brought up a good point. I'm going to plug my show for tomorrow. He said with Judge having, down last couple of weeks, Bobby Witt, which Eric, if you're still in here, you might enjoy this. Bobby Witt, Bobby Baseball is playing lights out still. Does he make noise for the MVP right now? And I just don't think so. But what
it's worth a conversation. Like Bobby Witt in most seasons with his numbers would be an MVP. Mm-hmm. And I still think Judge should get it, and I think ultimately Judge will get it because of how big his season is. But let's be honest. If you put a lot of stock in expectations coming into season, then it's Bobby Witt hands down. Because I get it. Judge has obviously been awesome. He's got Juan Soto right there with him. He's got the Yankees brand, which is going to usually help you win an MVP, of course, because of the attention in New York media. But you're the Yankees. The expectation, right. A bad season for the Yankees this year would have been 83 to 85 wins. That would have been a bad, disappointing season.
Right.
They're supposed to make the postseason.
Right.
And how they were playing early, they could have been playing better. And you get it. Judge is one guy on the team, and they don't have the best pitching staff. The Kansas City Royals, their team that last year weren't good. You could see some signs they've played beyond, they've played 20 games. They're going to be in the postseason. And most people would have expected them to be a 75 win team. Bobby Witt is Aaron Judge is obviously incredibly important to baseball and Yankees baseball, but Bobby Witt is way, 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 way more critical, in my opinion, to the Royals this season than Judge. Judge is putting it together, but the Royals are gonna win, right? They're gonna be in the postseason, approach 90 wins, surpass 90 wins. I don't know what the exact standings are at the moment. it's a real conversation. Like they're 1-2. Earlier in the year, it was Gunnar Henderson, stuff like that. So like, I'm not saying Judge shouldn't win it or anything like that, but like it's a lot closer
Gunnar
than
here
I.
has been keeping Baltimore in ball games. So
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I think the Bobby Witt, but even Gunnar Henderson, like again, numbers are going to play a major role, but like
right.
meaning to that team, most valuable player. You take Bobby Witt off the Royals team, they might win 15 less games. I don't give a shit what the WAR says. Like,
Right.
he's bringing an interest. He's helping. Like that. That's humongous. I'm not taking anything away from Judge. It's just sometimes people overlook
I
that
want to
kind of
just
stuff.
answer my opinion. Lou, with this means you have to choose to pitch to somebody, right, in that lineup. You can't pitch around anybody. You're going to have people on base. So, yeah, Soto hitting in front and Austin Wells hitting behind him or Stanton. You still – and Austin Wells ain't no slouch. Yes, I see what you're saying, but also, I like Judge in the field. He's above average center fielder for a big guy. He plays very loose out there, and he covers a lot of ground.
Judge is an awesome player.
Yeah, he's
like,
just that
and
guy.
he's actually gotten to the point where he's not that I didn't ever like. He's exceeded my expectations in terms of staying healthy and continuing to improve. Getting into his 30s with his size and all that type of stuff. Like I had a real fear a few years ago that he, was going to be one of those guys who dominated early, and then you get those nagging injuries when you're bigger, and it's hard to get, stay healthy, get better. But he's obviously incredibly athletic with what he's doing in the field and such. And, hopefully he continues this. Like,
yeah, I just this playoff, I think this year is going to have a lot of exciting young players, along with. I mean, it's hard to say Harper's an old guy now, but he kind of is. And
yeah, man, he's been around for what 10, 11 years.
Well, Muto today with his game-winning hit, and that Phillies team just looks like they're got the right stuff going there. Sanchez gave him a great outing today. They just weren't hitting well. But because David Peterson for the Mets ain't gonna take none away. He's been the Mets, if they can sneak it, if they can hold on and get in, they got 3 pitchers, man. And if they can get Senga back healthy, I don't know if I would want to play them because the Mets are not scoring a lot of runs, but they're going to stop you from scoring. Their defense is strong. They got a good team. I'm excited.
I mean, there's definitely a real chance they could be that team.
World Series. I just think they're not going to be even if you get by them in the first round, it's going to be a good round. I just feel like it's not a lot of good teams this year, but the ones that are going to make the playoffs are good teams in both leagues. So, and you got some spoilers in this back half. I don't know right now, if you're playing Oakland right now and you got to play a playoff spot, I don't know if I want to play them because they're just playing like they got nothing to play. They're just out there playing backyard ball right now. They're stealing bases. That Butler kid is balling out.
He's had a really good year.
Yeah.
I saw him hit a bullet live this year at a game.
Yeah. Harper prefers the term season. Yeah. He'll make the move to first base like Harper just because he wants to play defense. He doesn't want to be just the – yeah, some people do rock guys. DHing is tough because you want to stay in the flow of the game. So playing defense helps you stay in that flow. A lot of guys can't wait 3 innings to actually do something.
Judge is – it's just impressive what he's done because he now, like, there was that quite a few years ago, it was kind of like, all right, is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to be one of those guys who has some MVP caliber seasons, has some monster seasons, and then ultimately ends up as like a 350 home run guy, 400 home run guy, banged up, struggles the last few years of his career. But at this point, he looks like a 500 home run guy, an all-time kind of Yankees type of guy, obviously multiple historic seasons. The only thing really missing for him is the title at some point. So that's pretty important when you're wearing pinstripes.
Harper missed a scoop today that most first basemen would have got. That almost cost him, but it came
Harper
back.
he did it 2 home runs the other night, but they were his first home runs in a month.
Yeah,
There's a little concern with his health, and it sounds like he's just got to play through it at this point. But
right.
if you watch him enough, he swings and misses. A lot of wincing, a lot of concerns about the elbow or the wrist. He's got a few nagging injuries. So,
Right.
and you've kind of seen it a little bit in the field because he's been pretty good at first base, these last 2 years. But I've noticed a few misplays lately. So hopefully it's not too injury related.
And I mean, Eric brought up a couple of things like Bobby Witt's a good buy right now. Judge, to me, if you can afford it, they're going to be good buys anyway. Hot take Subway Series, I'm calling it. I picked up a poster for the last one at a show here recently, so I haven't taken it down. I got the poster for it to go in, but right now, I think for whatever reason, I'm seeing the average cards, numbered cards, whatever, is starting to come back down to a normalcy where you can afford to buy these. Now, I keep saying it. The higher cards, the autos of the big boy guys, the Judges, the Tinies, they're going to go up or stay up there. But it's just this big difference I'm still seeing. And this one, these are steadily going down, and these are steadily staying up high. I don't know if they're going any higher. I think the ceiling is kind of set for a lot of these younger. Finally, some people with sense are buying cards again. Orlando Arcia told me Harper is an elite base runner. Yeah. I just feel like, I don't, are we all over here? We got a lot of guys that buy eBay, looking at stuff all the time in the chat. Are we feeling the same way that there's this big separation in baseball? Then I want to move on to football and some of the stuff going on with the new cards. But right now, I just want to stay with baseball here. I can't find any Topps Black Judges to buy. Is there just a lack of short print Judges out there? See, and Eric, I got this feeling this product's not getting open, and it's just not getting out there. We talked about it last week, where I feel like a lot of the newer stuff's just being held, and it's becoming a breaker's world for whatever, that's my feeling. And I don't have a problem with that as long as the stuff makes it to market where we can get it, right? The collector needs to get it in their hands. And this is a collector's channel, so I'm not going to talk too much on the selling side, even though I posted about 200 cards this weekend. Yeah, you said that last week.
And you can hear some tape being ripped in the background as someone packs stuff.
Packaging.
What do you think I just packed? There's a 0% chance you have any idea what card I just packed. It's from 1997 Topps Finest Baseball, and it's a base card.
1997. I was going to say like Ken Griffey Jr. in a Reds jersey, but
all right, you're going to give up because this is 0% chance you'd know. A Bip Roberts base card from 1997 Topps Finest. So like you literally never know. That guy is a true collector. I think he's that card. Yeah, it isn't a rookie or anything. No, Bip Roberts. He's a Kansas City Royal. Kansas City Royal.
I think he was a rookie with the Padres, right?
I think so.
I can't remember. Ricky Leday. Did Chris Harris buy it? That's good. Good. I mean, probably somebody that collects whatever.
You never know. I've had so many sales to players themselves or their families.
Ain't it fun when you sell a card like that? You try to figure out like what they collect. Like the person buying this, why are they buying it? Or maybe they a set collector. Who knows? I mean, but it's fun to really think about why they're buying some random card like that. Or they buy multiples and they're all over the place. So that's always fun. Especially on my end because they're so cheap. I am the Sport Lots quarter millionaire. So, but since we let's go on to football. So this is our second week. I don't really see any, like, I could be very wrong, any rookie quarterback really jumping out at anybody. Any rookies at all. I know we all look at the rookie quarterback, but we just had a couple of new products come out, and I haven't seen a lot of it. I've seen a score be open, and I've seen Mike opened up the tops, which was all right. I liked a couple of cards in there, but I don't understand why tops. If you're gonna, do you think that's a Fanatics move? Them making them do that box. Mike you opened a box of score. Is that where I saw that too?
I opened one hobby box of score. I did open that, and listed them all up on the eBay store this weekend. And I only opened the one box of the composite. I actually like that product. It looks cool.
Well, hold on. Before we go any further, you opened it. They have 4 rookies in there. You got 48 of the one guy and 2 of somebody else. But here's my question. Is this a Fanatics move to do this? Or because they could have been doing this all along. They don't have any, we're just doing Legends product. The 4, I assume they have a special contract with.
Yeah, they have exclusive contracts for signings with them. I know for sure. I know Caleb Williams apparently is not in score, so maybe he has some total exclusive. I'm not entirely sure, but
I'm with you, Eric. I can't figure the price of the score. How much was that for that? Because it only comes in jumbo now, right?
It was like at least $250, which I've been able to buy it again for $200, but I didn't because I've done very well with it. It's a lot of what I have to pack. I don't know if I was one of the first people, but I sold a ton of the base cards and some inserts and like a lot of rookies. Like the rookies are cheap. I think I sold the Marvin Harrison for $2 or $3. I get sold today after he scored his 2 touchdowns. I know I sold some of the quarterbacks and stuff. I mean, score's an okay set. Like it's all right. It's kind of plain. It's not really my thing. Like
I want to do like the college uniforms. I am one of those guys you were talking. Now I remember you were talking about it in your video. But I'm not paying $250 a box to do that, to get those.
No, well, I mean, there'll be blasters and hangers and all
right.
that stuff. There's a lot of retail available in score, and it's obviously cheaper. They price it up because of the 4 autographs and all that nonsense you're looking for. I thought I did okay.
I did find some more of the Star Wars this week, so I'm happy about that.
But the only reason I did the score is because I figured I'm going to open one box, and I knew I was going to sell it right away. And again, you have bulk. Mm-hmm. If you're opening to sell and you can do it quick, I also bought it and paid what I paid because I wanted it on release day. Like, if you're going to sell some of the base type of stuff, like you have to get that stuff up immediately.
Man, his head is exploding somewhere right now. You effing flipper.
Oh, well.
Yeah, Eric, it is smart. Yeah, if you're going to get it, you're going to sell it. Get it as fast as you can. You be first to market.
But the score, like the thing is, when you're opening stuff, if you open 5-star or some of these products, they might be beautiful cards. And listen, you can hit like that $5,000 card. But the reality is most of the time, you're going to get skunked. You're going to spend a couple $100 and you're going to get $20 worth of cards. Something like score, something like tops. It takes work. It takes effort. It's not necessarily easy. But if you're up for it, like you have you open it and you have items to sell. There are people that want it. I know some people don't think they do. Everyone, the talking heads, the long-time people are all going to be focused on all the expensive bullshit. But the reality is the majority of the hobby does not care about freaking $1 million Michael Jordan cards. They don't care about Topps Dynasty. Like the average collector has never even heard of some of this shit. Like they just haven't. They buy the stuff that they see in the store. They buy the stuff they know about. They buy the stuff they can afford. They buy team sets or players they're looking for. So that's what people are. There's a lot of people. They're just every year. Oh, cool. I'm going to buy an Aaron Rodgers card, and I'm going to buy whoever else I like, stuff like that. So, and that's what I see with this, and I see the same thing all the time with tops. Like it adds up, but yeah, you're going to break your neck doing it. Which going forward, I'm going to have less free time to do that type of stuff. So I might as well give a shout out so and other people know. This coming Wednesday, the plan is to do a live sale. Didn't get to it last week, so I think I'll be doing live sales on Wednesday evenings. Hopefully every Wednesday. Can't promise that.
Right.
And I got a lot of nice shit for this week. Man, I'm cursing way too much. Can you tell that I'm on edge, Scott?
Yeah. They're going to demonetize this video.
I'm sorry. Well, I'll send you even an extra big league shoe.
It'll probably be empty when I get them. But anyway, because today was a lot of offensive football. But the thing is like in football, only quarterbacks sell. Even though you said you sold 2 Marvin Harrisons today. I mean, I guess not 100% that's the rule of thumb, but like Kamara today looked like Kamara of 5-6 years ago against the Cowboys. I was like, I don't know what happened to him, what he had to drink before the game, but Derek Carr looked like Tom Brady came from the upstairs to quarterback in the first half.
That's 2 weeks in a row where the Saints put up 40 points?
Yeah, crazy numbers. I mean, Dallas could not stop. But, is there anything that makes anybody want to go back and maybe pick up if Derek Carr's having this monster season or the Saints and go back and pick those cards up? Is football collectors like that? It's hard for me to say because I'm not in that world as much.
I mean, I think you're always going to have some diehard collectors that collect a little bit of everything, but the guys who make noise are going to always just going to want those top level guys. And of course, the quarterbacks are going to be the guys that drive the market and have the highest values. Defensive players, eventually, their cards have some substantial value. Hall of Famers in general, but it takes a while. Like when people throw all the cards away and we don't have any. There's a reason Adam Vinatieri's rookie card's like $200 because most people probably threw it in the trash 20 years ago, and now people every now and then are discovering them, and they're just, they're not out there. They're not easy to find. So there is value in certain players' cards, obviously, but it's going to be the quarterbacks, of course, that get the most attention. And in most cases, most of the quarterbacks that have value will lose their value within a few years, except for the
that's
cream of the crop.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. And that's why which hurts my head when I'm thinking about sealed wax on the football side of things. I mean, everybody was assuming, and I told everybody just wait, but what's his face quarterback down in Tampa? I mean, everybody was ready to, toss him away and everything, but he's playing really, really well down there. I mean, I think they might have lost today, but he is found a resurgence down there for whatever. I think he just matured. But some of these players don't have that time to learn. They just get thrown into the fire and they either, burn or find their way out. But Panini has to release some. When is the WNBA Panini stuff being released? I'm kind of looking forward to see what that price is going to be, even though now that 2 of the big rookies are hurt. But Caitlin is still Caitlin Clark. So, because over here, Eric says she's going to say basketball. She could, because a lot of those NBA players are watching her and taking up for her when all the other girls are kind of bashing her, or at least not giving her respect. Panini got the Golden Goose and probably the most hyped product in a decade, and they still fumbling the ball. Bombs. Yeah. This is their I mean, how long are they? Is the WNBA when they purchased the rights to the NBA, does the WNBA tie it in with that? Because I know on some things WNBA and NBA are kind of married together on some stuff. The football market might be the most susceptible to the next shiny object, and it makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, Three River. That's been my thought. That in basketball, players, and I mean, you don't even let them marinate. You don't even let them show what they can do in the first game. We're already, everybody. I can't call it speculating when I feel like the top price is already there and they haven't even played a game yet.
Well, football in general, we give up on quarterbacks. You get guys who are 20 years old who 20 years ago, guys would get drafted and the majority of guys wouldn't even play really for the first couple of years, certainly not start full time.
That defensive back is going to be finding a job next week, Henry, I think, for the Bengals. That Anthony guy. That was horrible. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Everybody's starting right away, and then we're giving up on guys after 4 games, and it's the same way in the card market. Also, football, unlike baseball, where baseball, in some aspects, people are way too attached to the past, even though the past matters, and I love the past. It's like everyone's infatuated with all the old guys that, you have these great ideals of and stuff. And in football, it's like, dude, if you played more than 5 years ago, forget it, you suck. Like, because it's obviously a different game. Like, it's just amazing. Like Troy Aikman sucked, Dan Marino sucked, John Elway sucked. All these guys sucked because they didn't, they don't play today. It's like, it's so dumb. It's like the stats. It's like the stats in football don't mean shit. Who cares? Like it's a different sport. If you want to go by statistics, then all the greatest quarterbacks of all time are playing right now. Matt Schaub's a top 10 all-time quarterback. If you want to go by quarterback rating,
I think he is because
was
he
an okay
player.
He had a couple okay seasons. It's just the stats are different because of rule changes, the way they let him play, all this stuff. So it is just amazing how forgotten the majority of past NFL players are.
Yeah, Bryce Young, I still confused about some moves here in Carolina with the Bryce Young. You gotta have a left tackle. You gotta have I've been saying this, and I mean, I want to have Brad on here soon so we could talk about some football. But to me in football, the left tackle, your rush end, and a shutdown corner is much more important than a quarterback because the way the rules are right now. If you can have a quarterback that's competent, then you have something to work with. Joe Montana, the GOAT, Tom who. Tom kind of proved himself with longevity and things he did with mediocre teams. He didn't have the wide receivers that Montana had. So
even Montana's forgotten to a degree. People are just Steve Young.
Oh, he was trying to smack you, I guess.
But like Peyton Manning, I feel like he gets. I mean, even though he's still involved with all the,
you look at the stats,
media
and he's
stuff,
not even the best Manning.
He just
look at Super Bowl.
These guys just all get. Just everyone's worried about Joe Burrow and all these other guys.
What worries me with Joe Burrow is what he did with his hair.
Yeah, I don't know. He looks terrible. Maybe he just doesn't want to try and look a little less like Macaulay Culkin. I don't know.
So taking his helmet off, and I was like, "What the hell?" Yeah, I was a little upset because I'm not a Chiefs fan. Respect them what they've done, but I'm not a Chiefs fan. I was kind of hoping that guy ran right slam through them on defense. Todd Pratt. Yeah. So Mike, what else is intriguing you in our? That's why I didn't really have much to say. I wanted to have our friend Ed on here so we could talk about some non-sport and how the rookie. I feel like people talking about rookie cards in non-sport, which I find kind of ridiculous. But maybe a first card of somebody or something like that. But with so many character cards and people playing in different bands and all this other stuff, it's so hard to define what that would be. I know the reason I brought that up is because the man with the best hair in the hobby, Victor, brought it up last week, and it kind of intrigued me. But I want to save that for Ed for another day to have him on, because he's kind of my go-to when it comes to that, and get his thoughts straight up on that. But what I wanted to talk about was Topps has started with Star Wars, and I know everybody stay here. I'm just going to talk for half a second about Star Wars.
Well,
What's that?
I'm assuming I know where you're going with this, but
Star Wars last year actually claimed that they have now Topps, that they have a Star Wars flagship card, and now this year on their flagship Chrome, they have debut stamps on the card. Yeah,
is there people from Star Wars? Are there people from Star Wars who don't have cards yet? Because I find that hard to believe.
Yes,
there's new Star Wars coming out.
So you have new series all the time. Stuff that characters that they just never made in the past. It depends if they want to go into the comic books and the new books. They've started a whole new generation in the comic books and the books so if they want to introduce them in the cards, which they've done in the past. Yeah, they did 500 living cards. They could have kept going, Eric. I was a little upset they did that. But I was just saying that, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I feel like Fanatics and Topps is trying to go crazy with this rookie card thing, and they're trying to spread it all over the place. I'm waiting for them to start doing it in their, Garbage Pail Kids and all this other stuff. I don't know if they're doing it to be funny or what, but that's a discussion. I want to kind of bring it up today to entice Ed to come on.
I got one thing to bring up to you, but before I get to that, can someone explain to me? I had the Braves and Dodgers game on, and I just flipped on the football game. Why in the hell did the Bears look like they're wearing Bengals or Browns uniforms? Like, what is with all these teams with all these goofy new uniforms?
Last year. They started wearing
the orange and orange. Like, come on.
They started wearing that last year.
Oh, there's way too many uniforms. You play 17 games in the NFL home and road. I don't even think you need a third jersey, but if you want to have a retro one or something, there's so many teams now with like 6 different combinations. I don't get it.
So merch.
It's annoying. Well, I don't know why people buy this shit.
Merch.
I actually saw some random dude on the street not that long ago wearing a Toronto Blue Jays City Connect jersey. I'm thinking, man, that thing looks even worse in person than I ever saw it during a game. Terrible. Bad decision on that guy, but hopefully he's happy with it. No, what I thought you were going with the Star Wars is that it did come out this past week that Topps secured a global licensing deal officially for Disney and Marvel cards as well. So you'll see a lot more Topps products coming out.
Oh, time out. So, okay. I know a lot. That's why I have decided to start saving first Topps cards over rookie cards. Yeah. And Eric, that's not a new thing. First cards were started decades ago. When we were kids, they were first cards. Then they had, then they started talking about rookie cards. I do like the Braves. I like the Nationals. I actually like the Mets one too. I wish they would have put the bridge on the jersey somehow instead of on the hat. But what I wanted to say was, I think a lot of people that went to the Nationals saw that Japanese stand over there that had a lot of Disney products. Beautiful cards. They were sold out of them. You could order them. I wonder if that's going to take away from the Japanese, because you said globally.
I mean, that's what it was put out as. So I don't know all the details of it, but
because and those Wakanda series. I forget who makes those. That's not a Topps product. What's up, Clay? Yeah, XRC. I know, in the back of the day, they had FC and I remember seeing the Mickey Mantle as a kid be FC whenever, people wanted to call that as rookie card, as Topps, when we all know it wasn't. Yeah, so I agree with you, Eric. If you call a card a first card, and it's got to be a card, I don't believe cards are things that are stuck in for like promotional gimmicks and stuff like that, or rookie cards. I think it's a promotional thing. I don't think food and beverage, somebody that can go out and make something really quick and put it in their stuff, or to sell something, to me is not a card. It's something else. I wouldn't call an 8x10 or a poster a card. Yeah, factory sets, Brody rookie cards. Yeah, factory set packs for me. In baseball, it's always been easy for me. It's the first card in the flagship that we call it now. We, growing up, it was just that set in their first card, and a lot of the rookie cards would be the year after their rookie season. Not a lot of everybody had updates. I didn't even know what an update was until in the 90s. I didn't have anywhere to get those. I saw them in Beckett's, and I didn't know what they were until I went to a card show in the 90s. So that's ignorance. When you don't know, you don't know. So that's ignorance. It's all learning. So yeah, that throws me off the global thing. I'm gonna have to look into that. I got to figure out where my Winnie the Pooh cards are gonna be coming from. And Mickey
Winnie the Pooh investor.
That's right.
At least you don't have to worry about him pulling a hammy, straining his oblique, going into a slump.
I got my Winnie the Pooh that Ed gave me at the National behind me, and then I got Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey back here too. Yeah, super collector on the Winnie the Pooh. I have two Winnie the Pooh cards. I've been looking for a Winnie the Pooh bear like I had as a child, or any of them. I used to have the whole collection, all but Christopher Robinson. So, as a kid, yeah, that's what we do, right? And especially as you get older, you start reminiscing about when you're a kid, and I've been picking up some old Atari cartridges. They're cheap. I picked up some for 25 cents, $1, and they work. And to me, they're still fun. For a little while, you get bored with them really quick, but it's the nostalgia part of it. I find really cool. And I'm doing that with cards. I'm trying to find some of the cards that got away from me, and especially in the 70s, when I was just before I was 10, that I wish I have in my collection as a kid. Some of my favorite players, the Robin Yount rookie, George Brett. I have an Ozzie Smith, but I want to upgrade that one. I picked up the Thurman Munson at the National. So stuff like that. Even though Thurman Munson, his rookie is year before I was born. He's just a great catcher, and y'all know how I feel about catchers. And I haven't bought a Pete Alonso in a few weeks. I've been getting Gary Carter's, man. I get on these I get where I buy a bunch of cards of one player for a while, then I switch over and start.
I feel like not a ton of Major League Baseball cards have really come out recently. We've had some of the football and basketball releases, pro debut, which of course is going to be limited with current guys, and then the only other releases have been those high end things that kind of tough to pick up too much out of those.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the release. They're not really letting you know what's coming out ahead of time. It just kind of pops up all of a sudden. And we're definitely getting a Ginter release this year because I've seen guys signing in that. I'd assume there'll be something like an Archives. Obviously, we're going to get update. I know Eric wasn't thrilled with the update guys, which if it came out earlier in the year, it would have been a bigger deal. Shoto and Yamamoto, but those guys have both cooled a little bit in part due to injury. They're the cover boys for Update. I kind of feel like a guy like Bobby Witt would have been a solid choice. I know that's who Eric was pushing for, but I don't know if Paul Skeens is going to be in it. Feels like that would have been a pretty wise choice as well to be your cover athlete in that product. So obviously we can expect that. That should be out within a month, I would assume.
So I haven't sent the PSA in a while. So me and Mike were talking. I did get a coupon on in the emails for $10 off a card. So I think I'm going to send in for my super collection for Gary Carter's 10 more cards. Since that makes them $12. Matt Harvey was great for I don't know how many seasons. And
the thing is, like,
Skeens is not.
At this point, it's irrelevant whether Skeens is good in 5 years or not. I mean, selling the product right now is obviously you'd prefer to have guys who stand the test of time, but like
right. I know one thing: I would pay money to go watch him play. To pitch.
I just know right now, if you list a Paul Skeens card on eBay, it's either selling right away or you're at least getting bombed with offers. Some of them might be lowball offers, but he's actually getting activity. But I mean, obviously you can say that about a handful of guys right now. And again, he hasn't been as good, and the Pirates have obviously faltered a little bit. But I don't know. I'm always excited for any of the flagship releases. Like for me, that's one of my favorite things. It's not going to get the attention. It's not the things you're going to spend a lot of time like talking about on videos and that type of stuff. But like, as soon as I see that checklist released, before I even look to see what rookies are in it, I scroll through and I count the Phillies that are in it, and I look forward to adding them to my binder because that's what brings me joy in the hobby, continuing to add to that legacy of the flagship set. So it's the dumbest shit will make me happy when I see a Cody Clemens base card or some other guy. Like that's cool.
When I found that Burger Chef box, I was ecstatic. And then when I got it, and I'm like, oh, this is like amazing. It, again, something that took me right back to my childhood in the 70s. It just took me right back to a time, you could smell smells and hear music and sitting in the back seat of a car without my seatbelt on, running around. And I survived. And it's just I should have been wearing my seatbelt, but back in the 70s, parents were driving tanks, so it was all right. It's those things like that. I mean, I bought these from you, these, starting lineups. Awesome. I mean, I'm always looking for stuff like that, anything like that.
I wish they would have brought back starting lineups the way they should have. That was a bad move. That's a blunder by Fanatics. They bought the rights to starting lineup. First of all, they started with basketball, massive mistake. I think you should have started with baseball or at least NFL. They were going to do NFL. They announced NFL, and they never ended up releasing them because they lost so much money on the basketball. But all you had to do to bring back starting lineups was include one of your Topps cards, preferably a special starting lineup one, but even if you put the flagship one, whatever. Mm-hmm. Go into your Targets and your Walmarts. You know what you see a lot of? Of course, you see the new McFarlane type of figures, whatever lines are doing. You see this new age stuff, and you see all kinds of goofy shit.
The Batman stuff.
But you see Batman. But you see old school Batman. You see old school Avengers figures. You see re-releases again of Ninja Turtles. For people like me, they even re-release old Ghostbuster stuff. And it's the old figures. That stuff sells. Right. That's all you had to do for starting lineups. You don't need McFarlane's are great. I love the McFarlane figures as well. But if you would have just done the nostalgic old school starting lineups and made them at a cheap price point, I guarantee they would have done fairly well. Would they be as popular as they were in the early 90s? Probably not, but I guarantee they'd do well. But what did they do? They totally reimagined it. They didn't put them on a blister card. They put them in some big bulky boxes, so they're not even good to display, like for guys at shows and stuff to sell them. They put some crazy Prism bullshit card that you don't need. They made it look completely different. And what sunk them, you know what the price point on the starting lineup basketball figures they did? $50. $50 is ridiculous. 20 would have been ridiculous.
They were like what, 6 inches? The 6 inch?
I think it was I think it was a 6-inch scale that they went with. But it was such a blunder. All you had to do is, I get it. It's not, 1986, 1988, I should say. You're not going to come out at a retail price of $3.99 like they used to be. And then by the end of their run in the standard, they were like about $7.99, and then they kind of made a bigger scale the last year of baseball. I think they might have been like $8.99. I get it. They're going to be $10, $12, $14, whatever. Do something like that. They totally butchered that. Right. Didn't understand the market. You had to bring back the old school collectors. And now, if you want those basketball figures, you can find them in outlet stores all over the place. They're still trying to get rid of them. Now they're $5 and they sell. But that was a shame. So McFarlane actually got the license back on that stuff. So you're starting to see baseball releases again in football.
The cool thing would have been like they make 4 new players and a like a Cooperstown legend or something, like the old school starting lineup Cooperstown legends.
I also think they would have done well to do regional releases. Do your standard release that go all around places, but also do like stadium exclusives or just regional releases. So people, you know how it is nowadays. People would buy them up and list them on eBay and stuff. And if you wanted the JT Realmuto and you lived in California, you'd buy it on eBay. Guess what? Right. That would help clear the shelves in the Philadelphia area. And the same thing with certain other players. But whatever, Fanatics, they messed that one up. But so be it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I was in a wait and see mode with Fanatics, and I was really thinking this was going to be the right time. And I'm not totally against Fanatics. I don't think they've done everything wrong. Just some things that they've done so far, I feel like, hey Eric, you've got to get used to it because there ain't no other game in town. But we can't have opinions on it. And I just feel like I think the price point at retail is ridiculous for what you're getting. They went up, jacked their prices, and gave you less. And
there's some products you can get away with it. Certain products that are a little shorter run, but like stuff like the Bowman Mega Boxes, what a disaster! Like they should just either discontinue that line next year, or you gotta drop your price by 75%. When it was $14.99, it was great, maybe a little too cheap. $20, even $25, $44.99, $49.99. Well, they're sitting on the shelves everywhere, and I
think people have figured out that buying minor league baseball cards, and that's what they are, for the most part. I know they do have some a 100-card major league set in it as well, but I think most of them are minor leaguers. You're prospecting, and I think people have found out you can't buy them like you can basketball and football and have a better chance of them actually having some type of a career. Most of those guys don't even make it to the majors. That's just a fact.
You just don't get anything more in them than you did when they were $14.99.
Yeah, you get less.
You get plain. Yeah, you get less color for sure, and it's harder to get an autograph. Like, it's just – that to me is the absolute worst value at retail. I think you're better off buying one of those bullshit Leaf products or a repack product than buying a Bowman Mega Box. But if anyone's interested in a Bowman Mega Box, for some reason, I do have 3 behind me. So, if you want to make a really poor decision.
You made a great sales – that was a great sales pitch, Mike.
They're trash. Like, they're straight up – they're a waste. And I hate to say that about a product, but you get the bland Bowman packs where you can't really get anything in there.
Yeah,
of course, in the future, sure, you could have a chrome first card of someone who becomes a big deal. Maybe that's a $10 card in the future. And then you get the 2 mega packs. You get 8 total cards that, for the most part, don't sell for more than $1 a piece. Right. And it used to be every couple boxes, every 2 boxes, you get a color card. I guarantee if I open all 3 of them, you're not getting a color card on it.
I don't think
in
you
it.
do anymore. I think
No,
because
it's
they
very
have the
difficult.
mega box. They got the mega 2 packs of the mega, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the rest of the card, all you get is straight base. You don't even get refractors in that box.
It's
You get
very,
2
very
packs.
difficult.
So you're basically paying $50 for 2 packs. And like you said, you could get some first cards that
You're better off taking that $50 and tossing it on some obscure player to score 3 touchdowns in a game or hit 2 home runs in a game, Ed style, because that guy wins those bets all the time. Gambling expert.
because I don't even know. I'm sitting there, you know, the Nationals brought up that first pick, and he's played really well in the outfield. He's made some catches this weekend while I was at my dad's house. We were just amazing. But I don't think he's going to be, you know, a Soto or something crazy. I think we're kind of last couple of years. I don't know if there's any in the, you know, I'm hoping Acuna is that way for the Mets and a couple other guys they got in the minors, but I don't think they are. Even De La Cruz, he's going to steal a lot of bases, but I don't know how much he's going to. I mean, he's hitting well too this year on all right lineup. So, but they're not Soto, they're not Acuna, they're not Judge, Ohtani. Nobody's Ohtani. I love the story Ed told us today was awesome. The Ohtani story. So, yeah, nobody watches baseball. Even though that Phillies atmosphere just felt like a playoffs, didn't it, this weekend? Phillies Mets, full stadium, place was going nuts.
It's amazing. They've done really well. I was at the game. When did I somehow fit in last Wednesday? Last Wednesday night. And I think it was, who the hell did they play? Shit, I can't even remember. That's how scrambled up my mind has been.
I can't remember either.
They squeaked out the victory, and it was jam-packed for an early September game.
Yeah, and they're really not – I mean, they're just finishing the season out. That's basically what they're doing. 2-2.
Oh, they played Tampa Bay. It was a Tampa Bay game.
2-2. Yeah, so I'm just, man, playoff baseball. It's just amazing. We got football seasons, WNBA. I hope the Fever get into the playoffs. I think they will. You know, of course, the other rookies, but I mean, the Vegas team is awesome. The New York is awesome with players already in it that have been around. And what these girls got to remember is because of Caitlin and these other girls that came in this year, and Caitlin is leader of them. We get to know who these other women are that play this game, and I've really learned and really enjoyed watching some of the women basketball this year, and it's been great. And I hope the college game stays going the way it is. I know Iowa's got another woman on their team that transferred through the portal. That's supposed to be a great scorer. So, and they just know how to play basketball there. That's just one of those things. I lived there for 8 years. There's basketball. As soon as the snow melts, they're all out there playing basketball. They're in gyms in the winter playing. They got indoor facilities for all sports. So I want the Fever to trade for Kate Martin, yeah. But I mean, it's been this time of year, it's nothing greater than we got hockey starting up around the corner, NBA starting. If you're an NBA fan, or you know, even if you're a hockey fan, I know I am. Didn't get to watch much, but my schedule's changed this year, so I'm more excited for it this year than I have in the last few. So really excited. I get to come in. I've had 3. I got my 3 plus my TV. I got 4 screens sitting here that's been running this weekend, And man, I just can't get enough. And I hope everybody else is enjoying it. I hope everybody collects to enjoy their fandom. And if you make a little money on the side from it, more power to you.
Another announcement.
Go ahead, brother.
Tomorrow night, Maiko's channel has not had many videos lately. He's been too damn busy. Did have a couple football breaks last week, but you'll see an SGC reveal tomorrow. Spoiler alert, maybe you'll see an SGC Gem Mint 10 Von Hayes card. You don't get that many other channels than Maiko's channel. On occasion, someone like Wesker Griff will sneak one in, but Von Hayes Gem Mint 10 coming to the channel tomorrow, among other awesome cards.
How would you grade something like that?
I can't wait for the comments. What kind of asshole sends in Von Hayes cards? You're the reason it takes forever for cards to grade. They were out for 2 weeks, pal. Shut up.
Yeah, I can't. I hope that's my cards in there too.
Also, maybe you could take a live poll. Do you like agitated Maiko on Let's Talk with Big Scott, or would you prefer regular Maiko? Obviously, I've been agitated.
I love
today,
you getting
so
fired
all
up.
over the place.
I love fired up. I don't care about anybody else than that. I like fired up, Mike. I get fired up Saturday. So my mom had a surgery. She's doing great. She did that Friday morning. I went to Virginia Thursday after work. So I was with my mom all day Friday and came back Saturday. And I actually this was my first Saturday. I didn't have weddings or work or all this mess. So I had time to relax and watch some sports and catch up. Like I said, list about 200 cards on SportsLot, list 10 cards on eBay. I got another stack of 10 to do. So I like the bullshit competition. Thank you, Sadler fan. That means a lot. So that. Yeah, today I just didn't have nothing to get fired up about. Really, I just I had all my anger, not even anger. My UVA is not good in football. I knew Dallas. I didn't think they'd get beat like that, but I don't think they're as good as it because they won one game. And my Mets are my Mets. They're fighting. But I knew this was going to be a struggle. They lost 2 out of 3. They need, hopefully they get a rematch with the Phillies next weekend for 4 games in New York. That's when we'll find out if they're good enough. You got to beat them sooner or later.
Most likely, the good news, and we'll see because there'll still be competition. See what you need, and I know it pains you because you're a Mets fan, not a Phillies fan, but you really need the Phillies to do really well against the Brewers, kind of beat up the Brewers specifically. Like if they could sweep them, the Phillies will, by the time they play the Mets, have clinched a division. And if they can beat up on the Brewers, they'll kind of separate for that bye, that 1/2 seed. Not that they won't still play it out and obviously try and win, but if they can lock things up, that's probably beneficial for your squad. But
we'll I was kind of hoping that Arizona would lose tonight because they've been slipping too. Because I really, and I still think that the Mets and the Braves have a good shot of both making it in the Arizona slide now. So, but we'll see. And that's this time of year is about. I love that extra playoff spot. Watch the games. Like I said, collect it for me as part of my fandom. I can't wait for Caitlin Clark's true rookie cards come out. I really want a first Bowman U from Iowa. I like to have her in her Iowa uniform as well, but I'm just not going to fork that type of money out at the time. At this time, I kind of had one eye out at the National, but they were just a little overpriced for me, and I was too busy buying campies and stuff like that.
It's astonishing how popular the WNBA is becoming because it was so ignored and so not cared about for so long. I know Ed thinks I hate it and get upset by it. I couldn't care less about it. I don't care about it. But
the women's game is really has really
Improved.
well, not only that, but it's still a very much a team sport. The way the women play the ball movement, the pick and rolls, the triangle offenses they run, it's gone, and they can shoot. They can shoot just as well as
Well, it's also, I think, in terms of popularity, also the fact that I know you talked about, I forget if it was with your dad or on one of these shows, and this is months ago. Like, it's a family sport where families are not only able to watch the games, and obviously Caitlin Clark's such a big star that people are paying attention and actually, like,
Minnesota's playing real well right now
for the first time in their lives, actually watching these games on television. But,
What's up, Stu?
people are going to these games, attending the games. When you grow up going to games, you're going to care about them. So it is positive and interesting.
Whole families, and they're all wearing fever stuff. It's kind of the way that our hobby's gone. I love the fact when I go to an event now, the mom is not there just to hold the kids' stuff. The mom's right there buying too. The mom is right there looking for stuff. She has favorite players. The dads are not just sitting there walking around with the kids. They're collecting as well. It's a family thing now, a true family thing. And it's awesome. And I got a little chills because, I mean, even, my dad doesn't like, my dad doesn't like to collect, but man, he loves going to the shows, talking baseball, talking sports, because he loves the history of the sport, of sports, not just baseball. So my dad can talk about, he was talking the last year until he showed about hockey. And I was like, where the hell did he learn that stuff from? But I found out my grandma was a big Blackhawks fan. So, that's just how it is. So, I mean, WNBA needs to clean up their officiating, though it's insanely subpar. You got some of them are the same officials for the NBA, I think. Like a couple of those females also do the NBA games. I just think they let them play a little bit, because if not, then they'll be blowing whistles all over the place. So, you got anything else you want to add tonight, Mike?
I think I'm good now. I mean, I never expected we'd be on YouTube, talking WNBA, talking about starting lineups, talking about Fanatics, butchering stuff, talking about Matt Schaub, all kinds of crazy stuff going on tonight. So fun night on Let's Talk with Big Scott 35. And appreciate everyone hanging out in the chat, chatting it up, making it even more interesting and fun.
Yeah, I do, like I do every video now. I'm very appreciative of everybody who chooses to watch this video, come here live, talk with us. And now I'm hoping, well, my work is getting very, very busy now. So, but I need to find time to start trying to get some people on with me and Mike to talk and get some more life into this, and maybe some outside, people with their views. I got a couple people in mind I want to talk to. Ed, I need to get him on, which he's always got an open invitation to be on here. And, I like to get, I know Victor, he's big pants Victor now, but I like to get him back on, talk to him about some things. And, because he's had some interesting videos here the last few weeks. So, and maybe Carlos and even Eric, now that it seems like he has time, and get him on to chat it up a little bit. So until next time, like, share, tell a friend, and we will. And please subscribe and hit the like button or dislike button on the way out. I don't care which, just to show some, engagement. And until next time, see ya.
Peace.